Hi class, today I'm going to read to you The Perfect Candidate. This is the story you'll be doing for your pop quiz. You'll be reading for your pop quiz. The Perfect Candidate. When Mr. Sorensen announced that the student council election would be next month, Hua heard classmates whispering her name. Hua will be president, said Carlos. Of course she will, she's good at everything, said Keisha, glanced at Hua. I don't know about that, Keisha, said Hua, blushing. No, Keisha's right, Carlos whispered. You get straight A's, you're on the travel soccer team, you play violin, and you're a great dancer. I didn't even fall asleep during your recital last spring. You did, too. I had to nudge you awake with my elbow, teased Keisha. Yeah, but that wasn't during Hua's number, Carlos defended. Anyway, my point is that anything Hua does, she does well. Plus, she gets along with everyone. Carlos gave a quick glance to the girl seated behind Keisha and then added in a quiet whisper, even the oddballs. What was her name? Luann? She was a girl who had chosen the student handbook for her nonfiction book report in English class. Only Hua had clapped. Face it, Hua, Keisha chimed in. You're smart, talented, and popular. You've got everything it takes to be a great president. Except for the time, Hua admitted. Keeping her grades up was her first priority. She practiced violin before school and before she went to bed. To be sure, she played all the right notes during her lessons with Dr. Nashawalti. Ballet was 3 days a week and sometimes more. The Nutcracker was coming up and she wanted a part. The Nutcracker's a play. Soccer gave her pure joy. There was nothing like kicking in a goal. Some days, Hua fell asleep in the car after practices. Relax, it's not like the student council actually does anything, said Keisha. Hua blinked in surprise at her friend. That's not what Mr. Sorensen said. They meet twice a month. They organize School Spirit Week. They plan the end of the year fifth grade class trip, and they're in charge of doing fundraising to pay for it. Carlos nodded. Remember last year, the student council ran a school store before and after school on Fridays, selling pencils, notebooks, and stuff like that to raise money? Friday, Hua's violin lesson with Dr. Nashawalti was right after school on Fridays. Friday was the only slot he had available, and Hua had been happy to get it. I think I'm going to run for treasurer, said Carlos. You should run for secretary, Keisha. Keisha shook her head. Secretary? Haven't you seen my handwriting? It's awful. I'm not a fast typist either. Anyway, I have other election plans. Vice president? Asked Carlos. Nope. Hua's campaign manager. I have a great gimmick to her posters. We'll use Melly markers. A gimmick? How many posters will I have to make? Said Hua. No worries, smiled Keisha. You'll win just based on popularity. The most popular candidate always wins. Not always, say Miss Student Handbook from the desk behind Keisha. There have been 5 times in United States history when the person elected president wasn't the candidate who got the most votes. It has to do with the Electoral College. Well, I'm sure that's not true, interrupted Keisha. Besides, who cares about what happens in college? We're in elementary school. Yeah, Luann, said Carlos. My name's not Luann, it's Leanne. And I like facts and politics, and I'm free on Fridays and most other days, too. I have some great ideas for Spirit Week and raising money for our class. And, prompted Carlos, and I'm running for student council president, too, Leanne announced. Keisha laughed. You? Most kids don't even know your name. You'll never win, not with Hua running against you. I'm just as qualified as she is, said Leanne. The voters will decide. Hua had a decision on her own to make, and she needed to make it now. So I'm going to read you the questions from the pop quiz. Number 1. What word best describes how Hua was feeling while her friends were talking about her becoming student council president? Did she feel excited? Did she feel overwhelmed, nervous, or jealous? Number 2, why do you think Leanne chose the student handbook as her nonfiction report text? A, she couldn't find another book. B, she prefers to read fiction books. C, she wanted to learn more about the school. D, she doesn't enjoy writing book reports. Number 3, which of the following is not a reason Hua might not be able to run for class president? Remember, it's not. A, keeping her grades up was her first priority. B, she has violin lessons with Mr. Nashawati after school on Fridays. C, ballet was 3 days a week or more because the Nutcracker was coming up. D, the student council president or the student council doesn't do much, so it's not a large time commitment. Number 4, she's good at everything, said Keisha. I don't know about that, Keisha, said Hua, blushing. Based on this quote from the text, how do you think Hua was feeling about Keisha's statement? A, embarrassed. B, annoyed. C, angry. D, confused. 5, what is a typo? What's the theme of this story? A, one should have confidence when running for president. B, do not let anyone decide what you should be and make your own decisions. C, if you are too busy, you should not run for president. D, popularity is important when someone runs for president. The last question is number 6. So you're going to reread the story. The perfect candidate, if you need to. The story ends open-ended, which means it didn't have an ending to it. Write a conclusion to the story. A conclusion, again, is an ending. Remember to begin the conclusion where the original story ended. So remember, while you're writing, the first sentence should be the end of that story, the end of the text, and then begin your ending.